Okay, so the point is this. Okay, let's look at this as a case study. If you were in a similar situation, right? If you were in a similar situation, okay, I know this is bad, but just imagine, right? And you only got to ask 3 questions, obviously from the yijing. What would the 3 questions be? Okay, you gotta work with me here, right? If you were in similar situations and you only get to ask 3 questions to the yijing, what would those 3 questions be? Please write it down now in the chat. Okay? Now, go with me here because you want to learn how to ask questions, right? Well, let's start with this. How would you ask the question? You are stuck in the same shit and you get to ask yijing. What would you ask? Type the answers. Okay. Now, so any of you ask these questions? Number 1, will I win or lose the case? How many of you asked this question? Will I win or lose the case? Let me be fair here. Did you ask similar question like this? Will I win or lose the case? Or some of you ask, is what he or she said true? Or maybe number 3 is the judge or jury in favor of me? How many of you ask this similar pattern? I mean, be honest here. Type a me if you ask something similar. Okay, be honest here. All right. This is important, guys. Participate with me. I'm gonna play along. Play along. Okay. All these 3, if or something similar with this, are wrong, or at least the wrong way to ask the question. Let me show you a better way to ask this question. Here goes. Instead of saying, will I win or lose the case? The better way to ask the question is, what are my strong points in this case? Or, instead of saying, is what he or she said true, what are my weakest points? And instead of saying, is the judge or jury in favor of me, ask, what does the judge or jury value the most in my case? Or in this case? Okay. This is important, very important way to ask the yijing. Because if you ask the first format, will I win or lose? I mean, if you're watching it, you're watching and following the case and every day in, day out, most people will assume that Johnny Depp will win, right? But in the eyes of the law, things can be very different. Because technically, if you follow all technical aspects, sometimes things can be different. Your opinion is just your opinion. Sometimes through legal means or whatever it is, it could be a totally different case. And Johnny Depp might have win some, and Amber also have won some, right? She did win the 2 million, right? Yeah. So how do you explain that? So when you ask to win or lose like that, it's going to give you a very vague answer in the end. So every time you ask, will I win or will I lose type of questions, you're going to have a dilemma. So just think about this. If you are going to fight a war, a battle right now, you're going in for a battle, whether it's a business meeting or, very important discussion or whatever it is that you're going to fight for, negotiate for, and you casted your yijing hexagram and the outcome was lose. What does it mean? Does it mean that you're going to serve yourself up on a plate to your enemy? What if the outcome says you're going to lose? How you feel right then? Don't you think so? So you don't want to ask a question just based on will I win or will I lose, or will I get it or will I not get it? Okay? Now, you gotta train, guys, listen to me. You gotta train yourself to stop thinking like this as well, eventually. Because it's always like when you ask a question, will I win or will I lose, is when you throw things to fate and just leave it, Don't do that. Even in your own thinking, even if you're not talking to the divine wisdom, on your own thoughts, you shouldn't think like this as well. You should always ask, how can I be better? What can I do next? How can I serve more? So if your internal conversation changes, guess what will change in your life? Your life will change too. So yijing trains you to actually become a better human being. Just like that. Some small bits and pieces. By asking the right questions, your power of thinking changes. As your power of thinking and thoughts change, so will your life. Okay? So the first and most important tool in yijing, write this down. They are questions. Okay? This is an important aspect, a tool. Not the plotter. It is the question. And there are only two types of questions. They are either disempowering or they are empowering. Take note of this. You should write this down. There are only two types of questions. Every time you write down a question, you must ask yourself, are they empowering or are they disempowering? Okay, chill. I will show you some examples in a short while, but I need you guys to think about it. So yijing is an intellectual sport in some ways. Okay, it's a very much an intellectual sport. It helps you. The more you practice, the more it trains your mind to think in the correct direction. And as your thinking improves, so will your investments, so will your business decisions, career decisions, relationship decisions, even life decisions. In time, even if you set up now as a complete noob, like you're a negative thinker, you're a habitual negative thinker, you're pessimistic about life, you always think you can't afford this, can't afford that, you'll never be able to afford it. When will I ever be able to afford it? You see, when will I ever be able to afford something? It's a win-lose question. It's like, when will I? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What if you ask the question and the answer is you won't? Then you're dead. So you just give up? You see? So it's disempowering to ask, when will I be rich? When will I be successful? When will I be this? When will I be this? That's a really weakening question because it doesn't serve you to give you options to become better as opposed to how can I be better? This is from Sonia Fernandez. Got exam next week. Will I pass the exam? Guys, do you think this is a good question? Do you think this is a good question? Okay, never mind. Let's just answer these questions just so you know why you shouldn't ask it in this way. Okay, all right, so let's click on this hexagram, lesser exceeding. Okay, now, so to answer Sonia's question, because she asked a yes or no question, this says no. Now, if for those of you who understand yijing, the name sometimes can be straightforward answer. Lesser exceeding means you will not exceed the pass mark. Okay? So, now because you asked this question in a disempowering way, it's okay, Sonia. It's okay. I will show you how to ask the better question later on. Okay? So, but you asked this way. I'm just using this as an example to tell you why if you ask this way, you get a very disappointing answer, okay? And not because it's not determined, because your current situation simply says you will fail this exam, simply because, not because the hexagrams, you didn't ask for details. Therefore, the hexagram wouldn't give you the details or you wouldn't look for it. But I can fix that now because I'm a seasoned practitioner. I can ask a secondary question on top of this. But let me just tell you why, if you ask it this way, got exam next week, will I pass the exam? And this is a straightforward yes or no. How to answer yes or no, right? That's the thing, the question here. So you look at the lines, there are 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 3 things that will come to mind when you plot the hexagram like this, when you look at the Rosetta Stone. Number 1, asker positions. Number 2, outcome is the answer line. And the third thing is the changing line. The 3 things that we focus on for beginners. For beginners, you focus on these 3 things. So when we look at lines, when the lines correspond to yin and yang and elements, generally is a yes. Now let me tell you how to see that. Take this as a learning point as well, yeah? So first line, second line, third line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just say there are 6 lines, right? You know there are 6 lines. So remember this. I'm going to just tell you this, yeah? This is called positioning. Line positioning. So in the position of 1, 3, and 5, are they odd numbers or even numbers, guys? Just play along with me. Tell me, odd or even? 1, 3, 5. Hello? Odd, right? Okay. Odd equals yang. Okay? Then by the same line of thought, the even numbers should be yin, yes or no? Okay. So first way of observing the hexagram is you look at whether there is a yang line on a yang position, or is it a yin line in the yin position, or opposites. If it's in position, it's generally good. If it is out of position, that means it's generally not good. Let me explain. Okay, so right now the asker, which is in this case Sonia, is on the fourth line. Fourth line is a yin line. What is the preferred thing to see here? The preferred thing is to see a yin line, correct? Now look at the trigram again. Let's look back at the screen. Okay, yep, can you see it? All right. Look at the fourth line. Let me just point to it. Look at the fourth line. Right now, it is yang. Yes or no? Guys, work with me here. Is it yang on a yin position? Therefore, is the asker, meaning Sonia, ready or not ready for the exam? Not ready. Okay, now these are details. So that's already first sign, but that doesn't mean you can be not ready and still pass, right? So what is the outcome then? The outcome, which is the first line. So can you see that in the first line? In the first line, it is odd number, yes or no? It's odd. First line is odd, correct? Okay, okie dokie. But right now, do you have a yin or yang in there? So it's a yin. It is a yin. It's in the wrong position. Okay, it's in the wrong position. Oh, damn it. Okay, so it's the wrong position. So tell me, this is the wrong position. Therefore, the outcome, is it favorable or unfavorable? It is unfavorable. Okay, let's look a little bit more detail. This I'll explain more tomorrow, guys. I'm just giving. Can I explain further, guys? Okay, all right. I'll explain to her. But in general, you see the picture is a no. All right, the picture is a no. And you already see the positioning that both the person and the exam, the outcome represents the exam itself, the subject matter. Outcome represents subject matter. You'll get more of this tomorrow when I go into details, yeah? So the subject matter says, you know, you probably don't know much about exam, you're not even prepared for it. Okay? So, if I'm going to go to details, okay, I can say the asker is in the fire position because this yang fire, and the outcome is earth. It is weakening me. This exam drains me. Okay, so the answer is no. Now, sometimes you are asking about a problem, or you have a predicament, you have a challenge, you have a situation you just can't, you don't know what to do. So here's what you need to do. You need to define the problem. Otherwise, you'll be solving the wrong problem. You gotta define the problem. What do you mean by defining the problem? Okay, so here are some sort of the methods or unconventional methods that I personally would use if there is a problem. And you notice that if you've been with me for some time doing watching me do readings for other people, this is usually what I do. I would ask myself, or maybe even the person, what are the actual symptoms or root cause of this problem? If I don't know this answer, then I would ask the yijing, what are the true root cause of this problem? Because these are the symptoms that the person is facing. So this person is facing these symptoms. I want to know the root cause. Okay? Or maybe I would ask myself, or maybe if I ask the person, I would ask the person, or if I don't know, then I'll ask the yijing. Why is this even a problem in the first place? Okay? Because at least maybe it's not a problem. Maybe it's just your perception. If it really is a problem, then tell me, why is it a problem? Why is it truly a problem? If you cannot describe it, it is hard for Yijing to describe it too. Okay? Now, how about this question you need to ask yourself? What is at stake because of this problem? What is truly at stake? Now, if you say, no, there's nothing at stake, then it's not a problem. Then no need to ask. You don't have a problem. Some people don't have a problem. They just want a problem because they feel, they are just attention seekers, okay? Just feel they're just some diva, all right? They don't really have a problem. A lot of divas don't have a problem. They just want to be seen to have a problem. It's like you ask, I have friends like this, and these are not even successful friends. You ask them, how are you guys doing? How are you doing? Oh, I'm busy. I'm really busy. He's not busy. He's got nothing to do, okay? But he's just telling people busy because they feel it's more important, okay? So it's really, there's nothing at stake. What is at stake, okay? Or, number 4 is, if I ignore all assumptions, what hard facts do I know about this problem currently? What hard facts? I will just take out all assumptions first. And number 5, which has a higher chance to resolve the problem, time or money? This is important because in your chart, when you learn to read, as you will learn, this is what we are leading towards, the 6 lines has 6 relationships, one of which is time and money. Time, it's one thing, money is the other. Maybe it is one of these 2 lines. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a connection. Maybe it's an idea. Okay? So there are different things. If you structure your mind that way before you ask the question, it will be much easier for you to get the answer. The fun thing about Yijing is that it can answer should and shouldn't questions, but you will not be satisfied with the questions, because those questions just, right, you have shifted the responsibility of fate into the universe and basically say you don't want to be in charge. If you want to be in charge, then you have to ask the question in a way that allows you to take action, or evaluates your action for you. Remember, are you seeking counseling? Are you seeking confirmation? Are you seeking clarity? What are you seeking? That's how you ask the question, right? So what happens when you find the answer? Well, I think the real reason we have any burning question is not because we can't find the answer. It is really because you don't want to ask the hard questions. Think about it, okay? So here are some examples of questions. Maybe we can refine this. Tomorrow we do this again, of course, yeah? Don't worry about this. Like, what am I missing or need to know about situation X? Then you get some clarity on this, right? Or how can I improve my relationship with X, right? Or what is holding me back and how can I let go of it? Or is my current direction for my career heading in the correct path? And if not, then what can I do to realign with my life purpose? That could be one. How can I free myself from the current rat race and achieve financial freedom in the next 2 years? That could be a good question. What are the skill sets that I need to develop right now to improve my career? Okay, that's one. All right. How do I repair the bonds with my kids? That's a great question too, right? These are the 6 failure points, okay? Instead of success points, I'm going to change them to failure points first. If you know what could cause you to fail or which are the problem areas, you could prevent yourself from falling hard. So let's look at safety sides first, right? Let's be safe first, okay? So what we ask, right? Sometimes these are similar questions that people asked before. Should I start a business? How many of you have similar questions? Just type at me as I'm reading out the question, yeah? Should I start a business? How many of you have this question or have asked this question? Will my idea be successful or will my idea take off? Will people buy my product? Or does the market like my product? Can my business survive? Should I partner with someone, or should I partner with this person, or should I partner with that person? Similar. Okay, so if you have these questions, is it on the screen already? Yeah?
Yeah.
Same but different, okay? Similar level questions. How many of you have this question? Just type a me here. Okay, even if you're not a business owner, but you have these questions, right? In your career, you might be thinking about, oh, would my idea be good, or should I partner with this person, that person, whatever, right? Okay, if you have that question, these questions are not the correct framework. You should be looking at these questions instead. Hiring the right type of people. Questions relating to investing in what? Investing in resources, okay? Resources to, obviously, every dollars and cent must be able to bring back the value at least equal or more, correct? Financing questions, strategy and vision questions, operation and structure questions. What is the most optimal way to optimize your revenues, for example, your finances, for example, or product related or marketing strategy related. So asking a question like, well, my idea takeoff is very generic, but asking a specific question on your strategy will be more specific, okay, to get the outcome that you want. Now, how do we see this? Now, the most simplest form, because you guys are all beginners, I'm going to tell you which of the lines in the hexagram that you need to focus and work on. So suppose you ask a question like, which area should I focus on to make massive improvements to my business or my current department in this organization? Or I should gain skills on to improve my income or to improve the company's revenue. Which area, which department, or which aspect I must explore further? Then Yijing will reveal to you where you need to look or where the risks are in your current business. Because as a business owner, if you don't know where the risks are or the missed opportunities are, you are leaving money on the table. You're leaving money on the table and it's up for grabs for everybody. But if you know exactly which areas you can work on to optimize on, you will be able to generate more and win more, okay? My business has hit a brick wall to grow exponentially, just not happening. What's stopping us and what can I do to get there? Gwen Lee. Nice question. Nice question indeed. Let's look at the hexagram, okay? I'm going to click and I'm going to plot out a hexagram. Okay, so relief hexagram, fourth line changing. Let's have a look. Okay, all right. So the asker position, it's on the second line. The outcome is on the fifth line. The changing line is on the fourth line. Okay, all right. First of all, there's the relief hexagram. Now, we can do a reading by the hexagram by looking at the ancient text, but we are not using that method. We're just looking at decoding this Rosetta Stone style. Okay. So there's always a starting point in all readings is whether the lines are in the right place. All right, whether the lines are in the right place. So at this point in time, the asker and the outcome, which is the business improvements, clearly, she's asking for that. It's the yin and yang in the wrong place, yes or no? Okay, so you have an asker, a yang line in the even position, means personally, a little bit out of place, not really ready, something is wrong, which is aligned with what she's asking. Second thing, the outcome, if she's just going to continue doing what she's doing, the outcome was still going to be a yin line on a yang place, which means not a good idea. Okay, not a good idea. So first advice from Gwen Lee is don't do what you're currently already doing, because what you're doing not working. That's first insight. Second insight, what else can we learn from here? Well, a few things here, right? We understand that this is a Zhen Gua, correct? The whole upper trigram where the outcome box and the moving line is in the trigram of Zhen. Can you guys tell me what is the keyword for Zhen? Do you remember? We talked about this yesterday. Yes, the keyword is take action, correct? It's called activities and action. So which means in order for Gwen Lee to change the trajectory of growth, the activities that she needs to execute has to be different. It has to be different. All right, now exactly what needs to be different right now? I need more details. All right, so this trigram will become a kun trigram. Can you see? Can you see it becomes a kun? Now, simple reading. Tell me what kun keyword is. Everyone, just write down the keyword. What is the keyword? The keyword is nurture. Yes or no? Nurture. All right. And this is Zhen Gua going to a Kun Gua. Your activity should be nurturing. What are you supposed to nurture? How do you nurture? All right, let's have a look, shall we? Apparently, the line that is changing, meaning the activity that is changing, has got something to do with output. Now, again, tomorrow I'll give you more details about this. Right now, just bear with me first because I can't not talk about this if I want to give you solutions, right? So output obviously is your innovation ideas and marketing and promotion, correct? So, and it also can represent your sales platform, your sales script, and or your marketing scripts, everything relating to something that you create. It could be your products as well. But because it transforms to a kungwa, which represents the nurturing of your customers, that means it's trying to advise you, in order for you to have exponential growth, you need your current customers to buy again from you. So you need the customers to buy again or buy at a higher value than they bid before. Okay, so there are two suggestions here. Why I say high value? Because this is a wealth element. Can you see the output creates a wealth? The output now turns into a wealth line. Now, do you like a wealth line? First of all, it's great to have a wealth line. So now wealth means value, correct? Wealth means value. From the horse to the ox, is it, in this case here, this is talking about value. So the same customer, output element, you now increase the value of transaction by nurturing them, you first give value to them, of course, right? You give a lot of value to them, and in return, you may do a few things. Number one, increase the transaction value, because this is wealth. So, Gwen, are you listening? That means instead of buying $5, you may buy $5 plus an upsell of maybe $1, for example. That's transaction value increase. And the second thing is, you might want to increase the frequency of buying, right? Because you look at, is this horse and is this horse? You get double horse, so that means frequency increase. So instead of buying $5 plus one upsell every time, get the customer to buy twice from you. Of course, you have to provide the value for them to buy twice. You increase the value, output means creating. You increase the value of your service and your product, and so that the customer will buy a plus one or upgrade. You know how you go and buy McDonald's, there is a plus $1 or $2, you supersize the thing, right? So it's just a small value increase. And also, according to this chart, it is possible for you to increase the frequency of the same person, the same customer buying the second time from you within the same period of time or a short period of time. When you do that, according to this chart, you will generate the exponential growth that you are looking for. So that is what is stopping you and what you can do to get there.